Welcome to season 2 of the More Cheers podcast. We are back. We're going to have conversations on topics that you might be avoiding. Some of them you're having at the bar already.
We want to hear your beer stories. We want to understand what role beer's played, what's your favorite way, what's your favorite place. Oh, and welcome back to season 2 of the More Cheers podcast. My name is Jason Goliath. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast where we celebrate and elevate conversations about beer and beyond. Today is no ordinary day. We've invited some individuals who push the boundaries. And it is, for me, a very exciting thing to speak about the concept of success with people who are actually successful. Speaking of successful people, please help me welcome my co-host, looking extra spring today, the great Marsha Kumire.
My own personal hype master. Thank
Come
you,
on.
Jason. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm really good. We're talking about a topic today that I'm really excited about, and I think all South Africans should be excited about. We are talking to, you said, successful people, proper. They have gone far and beyond, and it's really about entrepreneurship. So we know that unemployment is really high in South Africa, and because of that, people are starting businesses in order to feed their families. But starting a business is no easy feat. It takes a lot of hard work, determination, and we're going to find out today from 2 individuals who have taken the plunge. Some of them have had multiple businesses or have multiple businesses as we speak, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their journey, and hopefully you can take some lessons if you're on a journey of your own to make your business successful. So let me start off by introducing a friend, Sia Metene. He is known for his hip-hop accolades. He's also known for being a businessman, producing content. Slikour and Life is something that you might know about, but also he's also written a book lately, so diversifying the portfolio. Sia, welcome.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? How you doing?
Hey, author.
I mean, with love, just for my ancestors' sake, Sia Metani.
Metani, apologies.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
You said it with love, and then your eyes had no love. I received. I received, and that allows me to segue to introduce my successful entrepreneur. Started in the most interesting way. My advice is go and follow him on every single platform. A serial entrepreneur, somebody who has had a beautiful journey publicly. We've seen him make it. We've seen him break and fail. We've seen him rebuild and execute with absolute exception. One of the most interesting people I've ever met, the great Miles Kubheka. Come on.
What an intro.
Come on.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
and I forgot to say, and is cute.
Stop it, I like it. No, thank you for an awesome introduction. I'm super excited to be here.
Let's start off by getting to know our entrepreneurs. Sia, tell us, I know you, but tell everybody who you are and a little bit about your journey.
Well, Sia Metani, yeah, might know me from, well, at least publicly, where I became known through a group called Squatter Camp. I was one of the founding members. We're recording in my mother's house. Boom, boom, boom.
Come on.
Started rapping and then became successful, changed the whole landscape of commercial rap in South Africa.
Come on.
Got into the marketing world around 2010. 2010, 2011, when I stopped rapping, I was a partner at TBWA, the experiential agency, which became open field over time. 2013, I started slikonlife.co.za. So thought that they're not telling the artist stories. This is before podcasts, this is before like people were covering entertainment.
Pioneer is what I'm hearing.
I don't even know what I was doing. Started the podcasting. One of our like famous kind of thing was called the balcony interviews, right? And then moved from then on, and I from Slikour and Life, I sold the company, part of it, but then through that I started an influencer agency, started production online, and SAB literally like pushed me to take it to television. We did a show called Festive Get Together in 2022. They said, yeah, we hear you, we need reach. Can you get us to television? So we had to upskill ourselves quickly and learn how to do like TV production. Right now, we've done like almost 4 seasons of the show with SABC. with Festive Get Together, with Stella Toa, we've done 26 episodes of TV with SABC, a show called The Unplug. We just finished another 26 episodes with Channel O, with Tejo and Dimpo, with the show called Super Culture, and we've done another AFP with MTN last year. So through that opened our door to actually get into production officially. As we speak, we're actually turning that book and a couple of other stories into proper stories with proper global awarded directors. So yeah, this is where we at. Shout out to SAB for starting that. And we're about to launch a fintech platform.
Okay.
For creators.
I can't wait to even understand what fintech means. But first, I think Miles, the same question belongs to you. Just share a quick insight for those. I mean, I know your story. I've introduced you on stage many times. In fact, I made a joke when I saw you today that I love seeing you because when I see you, I'm generally earning money. My debit orders are safe is what your face represents. Talk us through your journey as quickly as you can.
Sure. I started a food business. Now I run an accelerator.
Full stop.
That's
What are the-
elevator pitch.
What?
I'm kidding. I was just.
I just got a pain here.
Like-
I just got a pain in my neck.
Did I waste your time?
No, I just after Osia's intro, I was like,
Did I
I
waste your time?
dude. I just saw Burobos rolls. That's all I did. I'm a systems engineer by training. Worked for Microsoft for about 9 years. Had the most amazing fun. Traveled the world and got paid super well. And then one day, I happened to see this advert on TV about this character called Vuyo, the big dreamer. And I wondered if it was based on a true story. This Vuyo guy, found out that he wasn't after Googling. Then I promptly trademarked that name, Vuyo's. Quit my high-paying job at Microsoft to go sell Borovos rolls at the local Fourways Farmers Market. I remember my mother, after I told her that I'd quit my job to go sell Borovos rolls, she was like, "Oh, Mtanami, what about medical age pension?" She really doesn't sound like that.
Is that your mom in the head?
But an important lesson I learned there was that a lot of people don't do epic stuff because of fear. And often it's not even their own fear. It's the people who love them's fear. In this case, my mother. But, I went and I started this business. I grew it into retail stores and I exited in 2019 and I dodged COVID by like a year or so, which was super cool. And then I started a food accelerator where we help other food and beverage businesses to help them scale and grow. It's called Wakanda. And how the word came about, Wakanda, I happened to watch a movie called Black Panther. I loved the movie, saw a city in there that was super cool, high tech. And I thought, this is the Africa I know we can become. So I left the movie house, promptly trademarked the word Wakanda.
You see a pattern.
This guy.
It worked out well with Vuyo's, So I figured rinse, recycle, repeat, do it at a global stage now. And about a year later, I get a call from Disney, who was working on the sequel
Yes, Black Panther.
to Black Panther. They were in post-production, and Marvel Studios, which they own, it was at this point that they discovered that I owned the word Wakanda. Long story long, my lawyers, their lawyers, we settled on $3.5 million that they paid me to use the word
sorry?
Wakanda. I'm kidding. Or am I?
I'm gonna go
It was an
investigate
NDA.
getting domains.
Yeah, it was an
Jason.
NDA.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So I can't confirm or deny. But long story, what we do at Wakanda, we help food and
What a
beverage
lie. Yeah, this
businesses
guy.
scale and grow. And we also have an organization called Twalisa, which helps people buy food based on the amount of money they have as opposed to pack sizes.
We're going to get into all of those interesting stories. I can't thank the two of you enough for your time. I feel like I'm getting more successful just being in your presence.
Too kind.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here today. We have a lot of people who have want to be in business. So maybe let me start with you, Sia. What made you transition from the mic into, should I say, the boardroom? What made you make that transition?
I was always in business.
Oh, yes, sir.
We came from a time where recording companies weren't signing artists. So the only way that you were going, no one was going to back you up support you. So the only way you had to start it was to build it, you know? So we started our own business, which was Bada Bing Entertainment, to record our own music. Literally our first album, Current Join, I owned like 60% of the master because put in the money, because all of us put in money. And literally, you know, from go, hey, you know, I've always been selling stuff. Even in primary school, I was selling stuff. You know, in high school, I was selling games. I was putting a markup, stuff. I was even explaining to my son just now. I said, I figured R1, if I bought it for R1 and I sell for R2, then I'll make 100. I'll make 100%. So that's just always been who I am. You know, I don't think I ever started. It's just who I am.
Where does that come from, though? Because most of us have to study economics to understand that if you have R1, sell that thing for R2, use that leftover R1 to buy another thing and repeat the process, was something I probably was in my 20s when I figured out. So I don't know if you and I went to different schools or we have different fathers. Where does that entrepreneurial, that natural ability to understand that 1 plus profit equals 2?
Definitely, we have different fathers.
And mothers.
No need to brag. No need to brag.
No, I'm not bragging. You know, I'm just saying, you know, shout out, you know. I mean, you know. But no, I think, you know, some things are innate in you. It's only when you realize what they mean. It's when you channel them to how do you actually like really work on them to become better with them. So you do pull some stuff from books. You do, there's school for this. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's really innate. I think my acknowledging is, this is a thing in the world. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a thing where I started. It was just innate, you know?
But you guys went to the same school, Miles, so maybe they're churning them out.
I also, before we reveal, they did go to the same school, primary school, if I'm not...
the whole, from primary school to high school.
I want just a close-up on each of these faces. And before you continue watching, pause. And please guess in the comments who the older scholar is between the two. Have a look at the mileage on these faces and decide who is out of motor plan as we speak. Okay, now that they've guessed, who's senior? Who's senior here?
So yeah, I was your senior at school, and it was a fun time. I only discovered just last week that because I think you were in primary school when I was in high school. I think. So
what's the secret? Do you bath in long life milk? How do you keep this youthful appearance? I am saying that about high mileage. You see hustling from school days. You see what hustling from school days?
I just never shaved. It ain't that bad.
No, you look beautiful. I just thought that was hilarious. I'm glad that you were the senior.
Yes.
And I'd love for us to chat about the whole history, but in the effort of keeping this conversation about entrepreneurship, Miles, let's throw it to you. You have the most inspiring story, because I don't think any entrepreneur's journey is going anywhere without failure.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to explain to an entrepreneur upfront that the more you fail, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because everybody just wants to have success immediately. We're in this crazy time where everybody wants it instantaneously. Talk to us as quickly as you can, just about the arc of your entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, maybe I'll just double click on the importance of failure, right? And I won't lie to you, failure sucks. It's hard. It's painful at that time. But what I've learned is that it's almost like failure course corrects you. Yes. Like you think you should be going down that path, because it's a hypothesis when you start as an entrepreneur. You think this product and this is going to lead to that kind of thing. So, and you believe in it. It's your lived experience and you do it. But what often happens is that it's a journey. It's like, you can take a short left and whatnot. But sometimes, because you're going down the wrong path and you're trying and it's not working, life just like taps you and course corrects you. People call it pivoting. That's another fancy name of you're failing, bro. It's not working. Right?
My whole book is about pivoting. It seems like I've been failing throughout my life.
But when you look at it, all those failures, all those pivots have led you where you are. But in hindsight, I think that's the best view of your past. Is like when you've come through the journey and you look back and like, you know, had I not turned left there, I wouldn't be here. And I'm so grateful to be here now. Yeah.
You make it sound easy, but I think another thing we don't speak about is generally when you fail as an entrepreneur, you've started something from scratch, and this business becomes your baby. The great mentors will teach you that you don't mix your money and your emotion together.
Yeah.
But that failure is not easy. You are emotionally invested. So talk to us about Vuyo's Wors.
Yes.
And how it was ridiculously successful and then different.
Yeah, I like indifferent.
PC, I'm trying to be PC.
No, actually, I was, again, taking the previous point, I was very lucky. I exited Vuyo's in 2019, almost 8-9 months before COVID.
Oh.
Sure.
Now, when I was exiting, I really didn't want to. It's a long story, but, you know, and I didn't know that I was somewhat semi-depressed, you know, because, you know, I come from a different school of hard knocks and that, you know, we're not snowflakes, we must be tough kind of thing. And so I didn't know that I was a little bit depressed because I'd exited and everywhere I go, Vuyo, but I'm not Vuyo anymore. You know, so it was like a post-cognitive dissonance. It wasn't a nice time at all. Then fast forward 9 months later, president comes on TV, says it's level 5 lockdown, COVID. Hey, you should have seen me. I had a smile from this side to this side, bruh. And that's, I guess, what life is that when you're making the decisions at the time, they look like such insurmountable big decisions.
Yeah.
But you fast forward 9 months, the most inspired decision I had ever made was then. And I think the key takeout here for if anyone listening is make decisions. Because if you don't, the world will make them on your behalf.
Yes, and you don't want that.
You don't want that, right? So I think for me, it has helped me be able to make tough decisions because I know that that decision can only be weighted down the line to see whether it was a good decision or not.
I once heard somebody say success belongs to the one who makes the hard decisions, and that's the same one that must expect to not be liked. Being liked and being successful, not necessarily
The
not
same
in the
thing,
same.
yeah. So Miles, I want to take us back a little bit. So was Vuyo your first business or had you had other businesses before?
No, I'd had another business before. When I left Microsoft, I started a systems engineering business, which was super amazing. Like, in fact, we were 2 years in our operation. Microsoft came to us and they invested 100 million rands in our business.
Sorry?
Wow.
Yeah, that's super
so
cool.
no, you said that too casually. How much?
Moving along.
You even borrowed money from me last. No, you didn't. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our first business, and then I exited that business, and then that's when I started Vuyo's. Yeah.
Talk to me about and I mean this may be a little bit off topic, but speak to me about that relationship. So I remember a time where MCSE was just the thing to study. Never mind the business to start. But what did that mean to you, and what did you think was going to happen after that investment and interest from a big organization like Microsoft?
I mean, I can't tell you how amazing it was. In fact, just to work for Microsoft in itself was phenomenal. Smart people, global exposure. I think that fundamentally changed my view, like in terms of, you know, when you work for a corporate that you wish that other people could come and see, like, come see this, like, this is what we do, or this is how the people are. That in itself was an amazing experience. And then exiting and then having the same company see the vision of what we were building and come in and put their money where their mouths are to invest in us. Again, I can't have scripted that journey better. And again, it was another thing I wish, like, come get people to see, because I think when you're exposed to really cool things, at least for me, it felt a little bit selfish if I was the only person seeing it. I felt like if a lot of us, the rest of South Africa, could see how or where the bar is, then we know where the bar is,
100%.
right? And then if you don't rise up to the bar, you can't claim ignorance.
No.
You know, you know where the line is. And so I think for me, that was a phenomenal journey.
Is there, in terms of the difficulties of entrepreneurship, I know that you've always had the entrepreneurial spirit, but one of the things that I've often heard you admit is you never had the formal education to match these dreams that you had.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that journey as an entrepreneur in terms of there must have been this race of almost expectation of self, expectation of audience, and yet an experience that's got to match that expectation is not almost there. How did you toggle that?
You know, I really believe that firstly, you have to always do something that's greater than your own needs. You know, you can run a business to make money.
Yeah,
it's cool, but like when you do something that's greater than your own needs, that literally feeds into other people's lives, or that literally builds something into a society or community, you don't need to feel a certain way if you don't have a qualification. So if your cause is greater for the community, that in itself will make the right people come to you, in my view. You know, it's funny. I mean, Miles, you talk about Microsoft coming into your life. I'm from a school where you build a business, and when you build a business, you literally like go, I've made X amount, so that means I must pay this salary, because I need to make sure I'm still working next month. Versus when maybe Microsoft comes into your life and they bring in a business, you could already set the salaries up front, and everybody works to their capacity, right? Because the salaries are there,
100%.
right? So a lot of us come from the school where we have to literally go 1 rand makes 2, and then that's how
it's
I pay
contract
myself.
versus pay as you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Well, that's a good. But it's actually like a comprehension and understanding of what business can look like. Because you talk about what happened with Microsoft. It's similar to what happened with me with Visa, right? When Visa came to me with the fintech that I've built, and then I get into a world of venture capitalists, and I'm going, wait, this is not how I do business. We do business when we make money, we literally trying to save for the rainy day. And they go, no. In venture capitalists, you pay the biggest salary to whoever's working to make sure that they actually meet those profits that the investors want. Now, when I start talking about that, I've been living for so many years saying I'm into business. I never understood that kind of business.
Okay.
Now, rewind to Slikour and Life when my business was bought by, there's a guy called the Swartz fam. They started ATM Solutions, blah, blah, blah. When they bought my business, I never knew that a business literally needed books.
That is the business. That's what they buy.
That, I literally, so now move back to my rap days. When I was saying I was in business, I was talking about what's in my bank account. I was talking about like this. So, even the understanding and the comprehension of business is so broad, and we always think we are in business, but it's relative. You know what I mean? So for me, it wasn't like an educate. I'm still learning as we go, right?
Is there then a difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur? Because is the one that where you started, you were self-employed, and then you start learning how to run a business, and those are two different things.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I still think that, like, even if I am running a business to a certain extent, if I'm literally getting a salary in my own business and it's still written in my name. I'm self-employed to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So for me, I think that it's semantics at the end of the day. What I'm just trying to remove, and this is really for all of us as South Africans, is that right now, as South Africans, we have a responsibility to ourselves.
Yes.
And the responsibility to ourselves means we need to build an economy that speaks to the needs of our people.
Yes.
Which means that we are the only ones who are responsible to create the products that our people will resonate to and that they will consume. Because currently, as we speak as a country, everything that we are consuming is probably imported from somewhere with the assumption that we will adapt to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we haven't
almost reverse engineered.
Yeah. So we haven't even discovered the entrepreneurship of like creating things that our people need, of literally economically and even from an industrial perspective or even from a technology perspective, moving our people with like our own ideas of entrepreneurship. So when I talk about entrepreneurship, I'm not talking about the whole business. I'm talking about economically, how are we moving our people from an economic perspective, from a mental perspective, and also from a resonance perspective? Because I know that when Siyabonga wakes up at Tembisa in the morning, this is what he does in his life. So this is what these are his basic needs. We still need to tap into that economy that only we know. That's why it's easier for us to do it in marketing, because marketing is ideas where we literally like can direct brands to think a certain way that's around how we behave from a day to day. And sometimes it really works for brands because we might not have the money to be the product of the brand, but we have the thinking of our behavior. Now reverse that and you start building the businesses of our behavior. That's the level of entrepreneurship I still think we need to get to. Right now, we're just figuring it out, in my perspective.
So, Sia, do you think that, so being on the corporate side, I think there's still like a big education job on putting together, because I think everyone is in business. So, Jason, to answer your question around self-employed, so if you've got a spaza shop, you're in business. If you've got a, you've got a big brewery, you're in business. And I think there's a gap in education on how to structure, like how do you cash flow management,
financial wellness.
And with us, for example, with SAB Foundation, they really talk about like how they help set up like people that are starting businesses on what are the things that you should be thinking about. You're saying that you kind of had to go on the journey and learn like, okay, this is now. I need to structure this. I need to have enough money to pay.
I was being chased. Listen, one of the reasons I stopped one of my businesses is because I'd make money, but all the time, and it's the end of the financial year, I have to pay the taxman because I wasn't paying that part of it. So literally, I have to pay the taxman's chunk of money, which I think that this is my money. So I literally had to learn that, like, how I learned to pay my tax was through having money to pay tax. Not I went to school, oh, this is the percentage you need to pay for tax. Literally, I'd be like, we're eating now. We made our money. And then you eat that money, then 6 months, the taxman goes, now you have to go to SARS and you have to go speak to them and say, can we make an arrangement to pay this? And it happens 1 year, it happens 2 years, but when it's not happening, you keep telling everybody, I'm in business, Baba. I'm making money. But all the time you're getting hit, right? So for some of us, literally, you learn, and the honorable thing to do is to pay your taxes, right? And then you get into the next thing, and then they teach you how to do your books, and you go, oh, so when you do books, this is when like Miles comes tomorrow and says, see, I want to buy into your company, and I go, you want to buy? So how do you buy? And then I want to see your books. I don't have books.
I wrote a book.
Then you cook up these things, and then you know that, through the books, people are able to kind of go, okay, your company is making so much money over so many financial years, so this is how we can invest in it. And now I'm talking to guys who are actually making money, who want to grow, who looking for people who can invest in them. That becomes the important thing of paying that accountant that has to be paid every month. That because now you make money, you go, I hate this accountant, but why? But that accountant, even if you're an artist, if you can be an artist and you singing and you literally like manage your fees, your performance fees, like it's like there's a salary, there's this. If an accountant can do that, even as an artist, you could literally show somebody your books, and as an artist, somebody can go, I think I can invest in you as an artist. But that's not even happening for artists.
But that education, I think you were fortunate enough to have it in many different forms,
with the world
through Visa and the world.
No, Visa's now. I'm saying
no, but that's what I'm saying. You've been slapped around so that by the time Visa comes, you understand what the ask is. Miles, let's talk about your experience with it, because you've got some experience with the SAB Foundation. And was it that way, where it was somebody where we said, whoa, let's start at the beginning. Let's understand our money. Let's work well. Let's pay SARS, but let's also not pay them more than we have to. Let's be strategic. I said that very strategically myself. SARS don't come for me.
Pay your taxes, yes.
No, SARS says, no, you can overpay. We'll hold it. So next time we want it. That time you're like, cash flow's gone.
I think, I run a food and beverage accelerator now. So we help food businesses scale. It's ironic considering my journey started with the Hansa advert, right?
Great.
So here I am now helping and working with SAB Foundation to help food and beverage businesses to scale. So I've got an interesting view in that I'm both a referee and a player, like, because obviously as an accelerator, we bulletproof, we help with marketing, legal, operations, finance, all these things. We help other businesses. So basically we built a business that I wish I could have gone to when I started my entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Which
So
is what you were saying.
This education that you
Yeah,
said
that's
we
what
all
Sia
need.
was saying. Because
Yes.
like I've learned so much. It would be a waste if I can't find a way to share those learnings back. Although working with entrepreneurs is next level painful. It's like herding pigeons, you
Why?
know? Because you can tell the person, look, dude, there's a wall there and you're gonna hit it super hard. And guess what?
They hit the
They
wall.
go full speed to
They
the
go
wall.
full speed to the wall. And they have to, because they have to build up their own scars, right? But at least they can't say they didn't know the wall was there, right? At the very least. So I think that's important. But the other important thing is that, for example, with SAB Foundation, we created Gwalisa. We started a business within our accelerator called Gwalisa, which is businesses in the township that allow people to buy food based on the amount of money they have, as opposed to the pack size. So if you want meal for 135, you can come with your scuffteen and we decant
Weigh it out, carry on.
tea bag, 50 cents. We sell everything at unit item,
Okay.
because there's what we call a poverty tax. When you're poor, food is twice as expensive.
Yeah.
So,
facts.
for example, a 20 kilogram bag of maize meal works out to R7.50 a kilogram. The same maize meal, if you buy half a kilogram, is 13 Rand. So if you're poor, food is twice as expensive, right? So it made and I discovered this during COVID, because that wasn't my lived experience. It wasn't my bubble, but we were helping during COVID in the townships and you realize, and I think this is what Sia's point was, is like, until we entrepreneurs who've worked in tech or other verticals go back to the communities we come from, and we listen with our eyes and watch what's happening in the community and have the humility to shut up and seeing the opportunities and then build solutions based on a problem statement that exists for the base of the pyramid. I think then you have something there. And that's exactly what we've done with Gwalisa. So to get to your point though, is that what that has allowed us is to become a referee and a player, because as an accelerator, we're helping others, but we are also participants.
Yes.
So we're building Gwalisa from ground zero. So we're going through the same problem statements as what our entrepreneurs are going through. So I can't use my experience from when I ran Vuyos to say, "Ooh, this is what you should do," when I give you advice about your business. I'm giving you real-time advice based on what we are seeing every day in, say, for example, Gwalisa. So yeah, that's the learnings we're picking up.
Is that what you were mentioning when you said it needs to be bigger than you?
Can I jump into what he's saying? you
Please.
know? It's funny that you bring us here, both of us. And he's saying, I did Vuyo Food Accelerator. For me, what I've built, the creative fintech platform I built, is actually like a financial accelerator, if I could say, for artists. What it does, it literally and for the consumer at base, what it does is it basically allows, because I've walked these worlds before.
Yes.
No one was there to tell me that you need to consolidate your money.
Yes.
So what we built a financial platform where you able to create tickets to sell your own, to make money from your events. You could sell your own merchandise. You can also distribute your music on the platform so you can get your royalties from us, from the system, and you could just sign your publishing. So essentially your revenue could literally be tied into one platform. And then what that does, it builds your financial profile. Now, because culture is so important in our lives, and I always say, it's crazy that we sell songs, things that we did for free.
Yes.
But because people have to live.
I feel the same thing about food. It's crazy that we have to sell food.
For me, none of those things are crazy. I've tasted other people's food. I've tasted your food. I can tell you I'm paying for your food. I've listened to people sing. I've listened to your music. I can tell you for free.
It's not equal.
But the thing is that though, what music is in my view, and creativity is communal. So part of what I started doing is that, okay, cool. How do we bring in the community into the world of the creator? So it's not just the artist. So what we're doing, we also partner with an influencer agency to do affiliate marketing. So what we're doing, we're saying that like now you want to go to an event, you want to support this artist. I can't support the artist by doing something for the artist. The way I support the artist is by doing something for the consumer.
But what you're saying is you are empowering people. So if somebody likes stand-up comedy within my community, that person can promote my stand-up comedy, invite people to engage, and have a platform to collect payment and earn a commission. So it's not just that you like my jokes and you're telling people to come and consume my show, but you literally are empowering them to earn while helping me earn, and the ecosystem sort of feeds itself.
Because we laugh at each other, we dance to our own songs, because it's communal.
We all know capital is important, right? You got to put to other people got your own money, but not everybody has their own money. So you have a great idea, but you don't have the money. How did you package it so that SAB Foundation released some funds for you? And how did you package it that, you got backed? How did you put that? Did you knock once and then they presented once and they were like, love it, let's go? Or did you have to knock on a few doors before people actually opened?
Bruised fingers. Honestly, you have to kick the doors. But, my lived experience has been that you need to tell a great story. And the only way you can tell a great story is have to have demonstrable evidence. You must have done something. I think my mother puts it best. She says, if you're stuck on the side of the road, no one stops to help you. But if you're stuck on the side of the road, you get out of your car, you start pushing, you'll be surprised to see how many people stop and push with you.
Oh,
Wow.
And the point there is, if you want to get into doors or do anything epic, it starts with you. You need to get out and start pushing and build something, even if it's small and dodgy and it's not perfect, but there must be demonstrable evidence. You must be able to demonstrate to anybody, particularly to corporates, or the banksters, no offense, is that, it's MBAs in there. No one, typically there's no visionaries. There's no one who can see something that doesn't exist yet, right? So you have to physically show it to them so they can walk through it and touch it and fundamentally start getting it.
Yeah.
And once you build that, and no matter how dodgy it is, I can't stress that enough, don't wait until it's perfect. Then you'll be surprised to see how many people said, oh, okay. And then once you start doing that, then you build a history. So people don't also now just judge you on the one book. They judge you on
Your body of work.
the body of work, right? I think that's well put, on your body of work. And I think, though, the best flex you can have as an entrepreneur is when you get to a point where you don't need to knock on doors. And you can work on projects that you want to work on because they matter.
Eventually
for
they start
society.
knocking. Eventually.
And
They're
then
calling
in
you.
reverse, and in reverse, and it's the weirdest thing because when you need the money in the beginning, no one gives you. As an artist, when you blow up, that's when everybody's giving you swag bags and free stuff you actually needed when you were on the other side of the spectrum. But you know what? The sooner you realize that's how life works, the better you are for it. That's the system. Lean in.
See, was it the same for you? I mean, I know I've shut you down.
Well, I mean,
As a corporate.
As a corporate.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
open the door.
Because you didn't quite specify.
Marsha's a good example of being shut down.
Please talk us through the detail. I would love to hear.
No, the thing is, I think the analogy you use is a great one. Talking about, let's just be real. Who in the world is thinking that a rapper is going to think of a financial platform?
Not me.
Because there's so many things around it, right? But I was pushing on the side of the road. I literally started the financial platform. I never even knew it was a fintech platform. Depending on when this comes out, I only found out last year, February, from Helen Erembe, who wrote, we were literally finishing off the book. And I said, Helen, look at what I'm doing. She said, oh, you built a fintech platform. I said, what is a fintech platform? And shout out to Helen for literally telling what a fintech platform is, you know. But truth of the matter is that I never even knew what I was building. But because I don't know, and you know, I just also want to touch on what you're saying with regards to MBAs. You know, some people literally, that is their peak, and they don't have to think further. In all fairness,
And no offense
Yeah.
to
yeah,
MBAs.
and yeah, in
No,
all
100%.
fairness, they don't have to think any further because you know what? They work to get there, right? So reality is that, like, you know, I mean, here I am. I'm always thinking further because I feel I have to think further, right? Naturally. So anyway, I do this and I think I've gotten to the ceiling. I post about this fintech platform. I do this big launch, like, you know, I pay for a venue. Oh man, wasted a whole lot of money, you know? But then I post about it and somebody sends a message to a friend of mine and goes, do you know this guy, you know, from Visa? So literally it wasn't perfect. It wasn't working. I literally went and I did a big launch, posted about it like I'm going live tomorrow, baba. We're still not live. We're only going live in 2 months. You understand? But like Visa saw that and said, do you want to jump into an accelerator program? I said, okay. And then they literally put me in an accelerator program. And here's one thing I got to tell you. The only thing I know about banking is that like they charge me, they literally have bank charges. If there's fraud, they don't call you back and they don't help you find your money. That's the only thing I know about it.
Second,
You know what I
unfortunately.
mean? But then I get into Visa and Visa takes me to this accelerator. I learn about fintech. How I got into marketing, because I was a rapper, I learned about marketing because it's the marketers that got me into it. So Visa takes me to school. I learn about fintech. I learn about venture capitalists and about how to raise funds. I learn about how to prepare the presentations. So I only know how to do like brand pitches. Like, you know, Marsha, I've got this idea, blah, blah. I know how to do brand pitches. But I don't know how to add the extra slides to go, this is how big the market is. This is, you know, so the other things that you need to do when you're actually... So Visa takes me to that school. What did I say when I started? Start and the people will find you. You know, doesn't mean don't go get educated because some of y'all don't have the heart
Now that's
to
me.
actually start.
Because people are going to be like,
You know
no,
what I
but
mean?
Sia didn't.
Yeah.
And
I say this. God knows I would have loved to go to school, but God knows it wasn't my reality. But God knows I never made that an excuse. So what I'm saying to you, do not make you not going to school the excuse.
Thank you.
Go out there if the opportunity for you to go to school is there. Because if I had half of the books and I had half of the grit that I have, I'd be 10 times further than where I was. So if you can have the grit and you can have the education, you're going to go for, you know, my son goes, yeah, you know, I'm going to tell you a story. I said, yo, I'm taking you to school. I'm going to teach you what I'm doing. You're going to have the balance of both worlds.
For
I
everything.
think you're going to have a better story if you actually use the chance. You know what I mean?
I love that thing of do not be discouraged if you didn't have the opportunity to get the education. But I feel like it must be underscored by, but you must present yourself with an openness to learn because it was your hunger for information, your willingness to learn. So you may not have had formal varsity, but the varsity of life was something that you took very, very seriously in terms of you seem to be the type of guy that knows when he's around people that can teach him something. And I think a lot of us just want to talk all the time and pretend like we know everything, but sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you've got to be a bit lower down. The pitch process, and in terms of, please, you can.
Short. Imagine now, right? I'm slick, dog. Yo, I got albums. I got gold platinum albums, man. I'm out here in the streets. I'm now sitting with these guys that nobody knows in the Visa Accelerator. Nobody knows them. I'm the famous guy. I'm the superstar here. They ain't done the stuff that I done, like from a, you know, but you got to humble yourself, boy.
Yeah.
Now these guys are the smartest guys because they built fintechs that no one knows them. Oh, you got to humble yourself now. You got to tone that down. You know, and you sit in that room like it's stupid, okay? And by the way, they're not asking questions. You the one all the time. So a processor, what does that do?
Balance sheet.
I even go, guys, I'm sorry for asking, so because I don't know. You are the one that's like all the time with the red emoji there. You even know now. Is that an old hand, Sia? No, it's a new one. It's a new one.
was that hard
know?
for you, Sia?
Huh?
I think like because
No,
because you've said it now that, you know, you obviously had the superstar status. Do you think that's a mistake maybe that other people make, that maybe you're transitioning and then you kind of forget that in some rooms you gotta humble?
I'm excited that, wow, man, you know the life I lived. I've been on stages. I've been on the papers for dumping people on Facebook. I'm in this room right now. This is my life. I just don't believe it. I want to ask. And I'm like, I'm going to be the dude that dumped somebody on Facebook in the fintech world now. You know, I'm excited. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I just don't believe this is happening to me. I'm like, geez, God's grace. I'm like, are you still working with me? So I'm asking. I don't want to leave this room. I want to know. Even if I sound like I'm stupid, I don't care, bro. But I'm going to build this thing because I've been called here. So I'm just grateful that I'm constantly put at task. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and when I ask why I'm put at task, I always see that it's bigger than me. Do you know what I mean?
It's firstly, I've never seen you this excited. No, I didn't even know you smiled. I thought it's like a biannual thing. But I'm glad that we are drilling onto a subject that obviously excites you. So, Miles, I know you share this entrepreneurial excitement. When we're in that thing of we learned all these things, we have these ideas, we come in to pitch to the people with the MBAs. How important is it to be able to show at least the understanding of return on investment?
I mean, I think it's obviously super important, but it also depends where you are in your business. For example, with the SAB Foundation, they've got a social impact grant, and you can apply. So it's essentially almost like a competition. And, what I like about that specifically is that it looks at more impact than the financial side. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big believer that the finance must be there because at some point people get tired of giving you money, right? So you need to build businesses that are sustainable, right? So, but depending on what you're building, where you are, and what stage of your business, there's so many vehicles or places you can go that speak to where you are in your business cycle. So it's super important to find, firstly, it's super important to understand where you are, but then secondly, it's important to find the people who are the right people to help you push at the point in time of your business. And I think there's always a massive disconnect there. Some people are, you are a startup, but you are looking for VC or private equity, which is like different lanes, right? You need seed capital. In fact, you need your neighbor, your uncle. You need somebody who's gonna just give you. I started Vuyo's at the Four Ways Farmers Market with $600. That's all you need to sell food in the market.
$600.
Yeah. So it's never about capital that I've found. There's two kinds of entrepreneurs. There's wannabe-preneurs and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs mark up plan.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Hustle.
Like, you don't overthink it. You just make a
dollar.
plan.
Yeah.
You start.
You start.
Whereas the other ones will give you 15 reasons why they can't start. Right? So
Fact.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Gents, I wish we had more time. This is one of those conversations that I think could go on forever and ever. And I really encourage everybody to go and find every scrap of information you can on these two. If you're out there and you're thinking about entrepreneurship, you're thinking about starting a business, you're thinking about developing a passion, trust me, go and do your research on these two. Go and buy their books, go and absorb all of the lessons, and be like Sia. Be hungry for information. When you see information, refuse to leave the room without it. Bang on the desk. Don't worry about looking like a fool, and get comfortable with failure. Every time you're uncomfortable, you're winning. Every time you're failing, you're winning. And eventually, you've got to decide which direction you go, whose money you're going to take, which opportunity you have time to address.
Yeah. Can I just say something quick to that
Please.
point?
No.
That
Go ahead.
you almost always find entrepreneurs writing books.
Yeah.
Like, why? And the only logical conclusion I've come up with is the information you get to learn burns you. You want to share it.
Yes.
You know, and I said, look at Microsoft, because it's like, you can't believe, it's like you've seen the other side of the rainbow and you feel like, Other people must see this.
It's
Right
like you took
now,
the
yeah.
tablet
Yeah.
in the Matrix.
Yeah.
You've seen things now.
And
You're
it's-
awake, everybody's come and see this, guys.
And that's why, because writing a book is super hard. You
Yes.
stare at a blank page. It's like starting a business.
Yeah.
There's nothing, just the cursor going,
Yeah.
right? So to go through that pain is because we honestly want to share. It's not that it's about accolades. Like it's so painful to write one that it's not worth the juice is not worth the squeeze because you don't make money out
Yeah.
of it. That's
Yeah.
another fallacy. It's like so it's about information dissemination. And I think in the world we live in, you now no longer have an excuse not to know.
What school was this? Because information dissemination. Let me tell you, this is a good school. What was the name of that school?
Benedict's. Yeah.
Oh, Saint. All right.
Okay.
One of Saint,
You
one of
heard
Saint.
you heard the
Okay.
Saint.
All right, Saint.
So, guys, I think you've said, like, from what I've taken out of this conversation is there needs to be a lot of grit. You need to be able to persevere because it's not always
Yeah.
going to go your way.
Passion. It's got to be bigger than
There
you.
has to be passion and bigger than. I think if you're going in there just to make money,
Flop.
it seems like it's not going to. It has to be a little bit bigger. And it seems like the failure. Like it's okay if it doesn't work out. It's okay.
Yes.
You actually need to learn. Take the learning and move on to the next thing. It's okay to fail. And I think
100%.
sometimes failure is something that we're not comfortable with. And then I'm going to leave a nugget, being you said something on ROI, return on investment. So put together, you said tell a story. And I think it's in general. We pitch all the time to our executives here. People are pitching ideas to me. And I think you need to tell a good story. So instead of just, hi, this is a bottle, here it is, like really tell a story so people buy into it. Because at the end of the day, we're all emotional beings. And when we connect with something emotionally, I guess then we sign the checkbook. 100%. So, gentlemen, I think we need to close off with a little bit of a toast.
And I actually know exactly what we're going to cheers to. I know exactly what we're going to cheers to.
Okay, I'll leave it to you.
Drinks up, everybody.
So you have to
I
drop
thought
your.
these were props.
You have to drop your wedge of lime.
you
They're
gotta-
still
you
cold.
gotta-
Yes.
You got to get it in.
Oh, it's
There
gonna
we go.
fizz. It's gonna fizz.
There we go.
It's gonna fizz.
Okay, I'm going to leave mine just there until I've spoken my words and then I'm going to allow for the fizz.
Man, it's a real toast.
In order to be an entrepreneur, you've got to embrace failure. You've got to have grit. You've got to be passionate. But most importantly, you have to start. To starting.
starting.
Thank you for starting and thank you for sharing. Wishing you nothing but the best. Salute, 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 salute.
So, guys, we're at the part of the podcast where we get to know our guests a little bit more. Gentlemen, we call this section rapid fire questions. So we ask you questions and don't overthink it. Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. So, Sia, you're going to go first. Miles, you get to get a test run watching Sia. We're going with our elders first.
This is the younger one. I keep telling you. Don't look at his face. This is the younger one.
I couldn't help it. It was hanging right there. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Right, texting or talking?
Texting.
Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
Favorite beer?
A Corona. Non-alcoholic.
Last song you
I
listened.
love it.
Last song you listened to?
Whoa. And I did listen to something.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Check.
Are you checking?
I'm gonna verify the playlist.
Let's just see what was happening. Oh, damn. Oh, this is just so typical for my age. This is gonna make me sound so typical. Wait, no.
I think we've confirmed
No,
who the
this-
elder
no,
is.
this is gonna be so typical.
Doesn't even
I was
have
listen-
data here.
No,
Doesn't-
I was
it can't
listening.
even-
I was
it's still
listening to a Jay-Z
It's still-
song. I was listening to a Jay-Z song.
So we've literally not made this rapid. It's just like really long.
It's the
Fire
speed. It's the speed of the. It's the African. It's the fiber speed in Africa.
Grandpa Sia, I needed to check.
You can't do a rapid thing here. When the fiber's like this in Africa, you
Looking
wait
for signal.
loading,
Can't
loading,
do rapid here.
rapid network.
So what is it?
It is definitely a song from Blueprint. It is the story of OJ.
Okay, they have to close it off quickly.
Okay, cool. Okay, sorry. Let's act like the internet
R&B
was
or rock?
What?
Obvious.
R&B or rock?
Obvious.
Obvious what? Rock? Dave? Rock,
No,
right?
R&B. What?
I don't. You said obvious. You never know.
R&B.
Miles, I hope you do better at the rapid parts. Jason, handing over to you.
Mine are going to be more difficult because our elder, you know what I mean?
Literally
Head boy energy. Head boy energy. All right, Miles. If you could drink a beer with any historical figure, who would it be?
Nelson Mandela.
Why?
I mean, I think it's self-evident.
What beer would that be?
Corona.
A Corona with Nelson Mandela. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Now you're going to explain to him, no, there's no alcohol.
And non-alcoholic, because I don't think we both drink, so.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at keeping secrets?
8.
8.
But
So
2 out of
I'm
10.
very, very impressed. What is your favorite song to listen to on a night out? Oof.
Actually, anything by Tupac.
Anything by Tupac on a night out.
Yeah.
So you like it to get heavy.
Yeah.
Last question. If a beer was a person, what beer would represent you as a personality?
I think that's a tough one, considering I don't drink.
Yes.
Sparkling water.
Yeah, me and Sparkling Water, same WhatsApp group. But honestly, for obvious reasons, Hansa.
Booyah.
See what I
That's
did
a
there?
big dreamer.
One of my favorite SAB ads, by the way.
I think my favorite, and I think that auntie was my favorite character of all time. And if you guys are still wondering why we're talking about Miles and Vuyo, I want you to go figure out the story for yourselves. Go and Google Miles Kubheka, Vuyo Vors, and you're going to see just how easy it is to be an entrepreneur. There are nuggets being put out there every single day, and the next one could be you.
Thank you.
Catch you guys next time.
Bah! Thank you for joining us. Thank you, James.
No.
You were amazing.